Praise the Lord, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Welcome back to another Good Mourning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So grateful and thankful for this day, this time, and this opportunity to be able to come to you today to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Mourning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and my sisters, it is the natural, normal, necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you reveal it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. That's why we shout good morning, because mourning is a good thing. And I'm so grateful that you're joining us here on today as we lead you in a very special way in today's Good Mourning Grief Devotion. Y'all know what we've been on all week. We have been talking about handle with care. Our devotional series this week is focusing on handling yourself with care, being gentle with yourself, being patient with yourself, being gracious to yourself, being kind to yourself as you navigate perhaps the roughest season of your life, entering into a grief and grief journey, a journey of mourning, right? It is so very important that you handle yourself with care. And today I'm so excited about our latest installment. So today is day 238. We're going to get this thing straight. We're going to talk about respect your limits. Respect your limits. Now, I really love this one because this is so very important. So very important. If you handle yourself with care, then you are going to respect your limits, your boundaries, the things that you set up and establish for your life to help you as you navigate through your grief. Let's talk about it, y'all. The Bible says in Mark 6:31, then, because so many people were coming and going, they did not even have a chance to eat. He said to them, come with me by yourself to a quiet place to get some rest. Respect your limits. I love this passage. We're going to dive into it. As Jesus and his disciples, they was feeding everybody else. They was ministering to everybody else. They were meeting the needs of everybody else. Here it is, to the detriment of themselves. They were doing so many things for so many people that they themselves did not even have a chance to eat. Jesus invites them away from the work and invites them into a place of rest. Let's talk about it, y'all. Understand that grief changes your capacity. Things you used to handle easily may suddenly feel overwhelming. A full schedule feels heavier. Crowded rooms feel exhausting. Long conversations drain you. Even simple decisions can require more energy than they used to. Grief changes your capacity. One thing that I always tell people, know your capacity. You have to know your capacity, what you are capable of handling, what you are capable of holding. You got to know your capacity. I got a couple of different containers. I got this wonderful coffee cup that Sean Spells blessed me with. Sean Spells is my favorite coffee cup, and I thank you for it. This coffee cup has the ability to hold only so much liquid, right? Then I got this water bottle. This water bottle can only hold so much liquid, right? Then let me use this one. I got my Essentia, 33.8 fluid ounces, right? And I got one that I drank yesterday, 50.7 fluid ounces. I'll just use those for the time being. You look at these two different bottles, right? They're not the same size. They may look like it, but they're not. They're two different sizes. You know what they have? Two different capacities. This can hold so much more than this can hold. They got two totally different capacities. And if you want to bring in my coffee cup, this holds much less than these two hold right here. Pastor Duncan, why are you showing us this? Because they all have a different capacity to hold and handle stuff. When you go through grief, grief changes your capacity. The capacity that you once used to have for people and to help and to volunteer and to show up and to do it. It might have been this, but now that you're going through grief, it might be this. I don't have the capacity that I used to have. right? Doing it the way I used to do it, show up the way I used to show up. I don't have that same capacity. Grief changes your capacity. You have to know your capacity, because what happens is, as you navigate through your grief journey, you will try to operate the same way you did pre-grief, right? You will try to operate at the same level, the same intensity, the same. You'll try to operate the same way you did pre-grief. You got to know and understand, grief changes your capacity. You may not be able to handle what you once did. You got to notice, this is why you got to know your limits. You used to say yes before you started on your grief journey. Yeah. However the song went. Now you might have to start saying no. You can't do what you once did because you ain't got the capacity. Not only are you exhausted physically, but mentally, emotionally, you trying to wrap your mind around what just happened, what just took place. It's taking a toll on you. You trying to recruit, you trying to, man, you grief changes your capacity. And when it changes your capacity, y'all better listen to me. You got to, what you got to do? Respect your limits. You got to respect your limits. And if you said yes to something, you can say no. I'll never forget, God got a way of bringing up stuff, and it's interesting. When my sister was in the hospital, this is back in 1999, she was in the hospital for a week in a coma, right? And prior to the incident that happened and took place, right? It happened on a Saturday. She was in the hospital for a week, and she ended up passing the next Saturday. Prior to that, I had connected with a young lady who asked me to do some background vocals for an upcoming performance. I was like, absolutely. I was just honored to to be asked, because I ain't no real singer. I mean, I could do some BGVs. I could do some background vocals, right? And I think I may have went to like the first rehearsal or something like that. But then the incident happened with my sister, and so she had another rehearsal the week of. My sister's laying in the hospital in a coma. And I tried to explain, and I was very apologetic. Hey, I can't, man, it's going to be a little difficult. And, the show was coming up. I mean, I think she was kind of mad. And usually to where, I'm going to make it happen. No matter what, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to make it happen. Y'all, I didn't have the capacity. Myself, I don't know if she's going to live or die. She's laying up in here, and you want me to come to a rehearsal? And I know I made the prior commitment, and I know I did, and I usually follow through with my commitments, but I'm sorry, right? I don't have the capacity. And for many of us, is what you got to know and understand. There may have been things that you said yes to that now you no longer have the capacity to carry out, right? And this is the thing. Maybe you said yes on this particular date, but when the time arrives, like, it's just real hard. Like, and you don't have the capacity, and y'all will feel bad for saying no, right? Respect your limits. You got to respect your limits. And y'all know I teach y'all all the time, there's a time to push and there's a time to pause, right? There are some things, I got to put, this is a time to push, but understand that there's also a time to pause. And if it's one of those things where you got to push. If it's one of those things where you got to pause, respect your limits, pause. I know I said yes, but I ain't got the capacity. I do apologize. I don't have the capacity. You got to know and understand. You got to respect your capacity. Even simple decisions can require more energy than they used to. Middle paragraph. Sometimes we become frustrated with ourselves because we expect our old capacity from a heart carrying a new weight, right? We have an expectation of our old capacity to still be in full swing, but we got a new heart that's carrying this particular weight. Part of handling yourself with care is learning to respect your limits. Jesus understood limits. In Mark 6, the disciples were busy serving people. There were needs everywhere. People were constantly coming and going. This is what the scripture said. Jesus looked at them and said, come and get some rest. The needs were still there. The people were still there. The work wasn't finished, but Jesus knew they themselves needed rest. Did you hear what I said? The needs were still there. The people were still there. The work wasn't finished, but Jesus knew they needed rest. There are going to be times in your life, the needs are going to be there. The people are going to be there. The work needs to be finished, but you got to understand you need your rest. You got to respect your limits. It's going to get taken care of. It is. If they don't think it's going to get taken care of, right? They don't think it can't happen without you, right? Let something happen to you. It's going to move on. They're going to figure it out. Sometimes you got to understand that because you got to understand your limits. And this is the thing. You can't be considering everybody else and neglecting yourself. You can't put yourself on the back burner. You can't, what they say, you can't put yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Now, here they are. They're warm and they're satisfied. They're cozy. And you over here burning up because you are not respecting your limits. You got to learn how to respect your limits. Jesus knew they needed rest. Sometimes we think saying no means we're letting people down. Sometimes we think resting means we're being lazy. Sometimes we keep pushing because we don't want anyone to think grief has changed us. But the devil is a liar. Y'all got to know and understand grief has changed some things. As you navigate through your grief journey, you got to know and understand that grief has changed something. Things are not the same, at least for this season. And guess what? That's okay. You may not be able to attend every gathering. You may not be able to answer every phone call. You may not be able to help everybody or maintain the same schedule. You may not be able to carry the same responsibilities you once did. That does not make you weak. Understand this, beloved. It makes you human. Grief changes things, right? You're not weak. Understand, you are human. Your limits aren't something to be ashamed of. There's something to be respected. I was juicing yesterday. I made, it's so good. It's smooth. I made this juice yesterday. It was watermelon, lemons, pineapple, oranges, ginger, and mint, right? Ginger, mint. Usually, the mix, it might be a little too minty or it might be a little too spicy because of the ginger, usually. But y'all, I'm telling you, it was the perfect combination. Smooth. It was just so smooth. It's so good. It's so delicious. It's so healthy. I made it. I'm looking at my juicer though, right? And the juicer says, do not run continuously for over 30 minutes, something like that. It gives a label. Because when you juice, I cut up all the stuff before I juice. I don't cut while I'm going. But it says you can't run it more than 30 minutes. 30 minutes and you got to cut it off. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, even the juicer is preaching because the juicer understands the limits, right? 30 minutes. You're going to tear up the battery. You're going to tear up the motor. It's not going to be operable if you push it past its limits. Do 30 minutes, get all the juicing you need in 30 minutes, and then shut this thing off and let it rest. If a juicer understands its limits, come on, somebody, I need you to understand your limits. Your limits are nothing to be ashamed of. There's something to be respected. There will be seasons when you can do more. There will be seasons when you need to do less. There will be seasons where you can do more. And if you can, kudos to you, do it. There will be seasons where you can do less, where you may need to do less. Wisdom is knowing which season you're in. You got to know what season you're in. You got to know when to what. Is this a season where I can do more, or is this a season when I need to rest and do less? Is this a season where I can explore and do more, or is this a season when I need to rest and do less? You got to know which season you're in. You don't have to explain every no. You don't have to apologize for every boundary. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to prove you are okay. You ain't got to explain every no. You ain't got to exhaust every boundary. No, no, can't do it. No, you ain't got to exhaust every boundary. Your heart is carrying enough already, so don't keep placing unnecessary weight on your heart. This is what you got to do with your heart. You got to handle it with care. Here is your point of application. Identify one place where you've been pushing beyond your limits. Give yourself permission today to rest, to say no, to ask for help, or simply to do less. Respecting your limits isn't giving up, it's giving your heart room to heal. Respecting your limits, it ain't giving up. You are giving your heart room to heal. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 238. I told you we was going to get this thing straight. The series is handled with care. Today's lesson, respect your limits. Respect, RESPECT. You got to learn how to respect your limits. Holla at your boy if you got questions, comments. Stacia said, I had to learn the hard way. Lord, jeez. She had to learn the hard way. You hear me? Sometimes it's like that. Questions, comments, if you got them, holla at your boy. Questions, comments, if you got them, holla at your boy. Any questions or comments on the tick of the talks? Questions, comments, I'm going through. This is our daily grief devotion. We're here every single day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, year 4, helping people navigate through their grief one day at a time. Any questions? Yep. What season are you in? A season to explore and do more, or do less and rest? Respect your limits. I love it. Let's go, Nikki. I absolutely love it. You got to ask yourself that question. What season am I in, right? Season to explore, do more, season to rest and do less. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all with the love of the Lord. No questions, comments. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place for another Good Morning Grief Devotion. Good morning.